Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I'm going to be bringing you my September reading wrap-up. Now, usually when I do one of these wrap-ups, I just basically start at the first book I read for the month and just work my way down until I get to the last book that I read for the particular month. However, this time out, I participated in about 3 or 4, I don't know, maybe 5, I think, reading challenges. Some that I began in August, some that began and some that began here in September, but I participated in quite a few of them, like I said, about 3 to 5, I believe. So I thought the best thing to do was go by for those particular reading challenges and tell you the books that I read for them. Because if I didn't, I would probably be jumping all over the place, trying to figure out, oh, I read this for this and this for this, and it's just not going to work that way. So that being said, let's go ahead and get underway. Some of these books are hardcover and paperback or whatever, and then some are going to pop up on the screen when I say their name. So let's go ahead and get started on this. First of all, I did the American Horror Stories Reading Challenge, and this was created by Prue over at Prue Pruitt. Okay, this is a pretty cool challenge. What he did was he took all the seasons of American Horror Story, and he created prompts for each one of those seasons, which I thought was really cool. Now, for the one for Coven, I already did that one back in the August reading challenge, and that was the Milan Witch, and of course that deals with witches in the season. So, of course, to read a book about a witch or something like that, all right? I don't remember all of them, and I'm just going to do the ones, I'm just going to announce the ones that pertain to the particular one that I chose to do, okay? Because he really did a good job with this. Instead of just saying, well, read a book with this, he said, read a book with this, or this, or this, okay? Anyway, I digress. I'm talking too much. I apologize. Okay, so first up, we got Season 1. We've got Murder House. Read a book about a ghost or haunted house. And for that one, I chose You Should Have Left by Daniel Kelman. And this is about a guy that moves to this house with his family, and he's trying to get the screenplay written. And the best way to put it is to look at this book as House of Leaves light, because that's exactly what it is. It's a thin book, as opposed to House of Leaves, which is like monstrous size, okay? But yeah, basically this is House of Leaves light. Things start happening, like hallways seem to be a little bit longer. When he goes to reach for something that should be right there, it's further away from him. Or when it's further away, it appears to be closer to him. Just all kinds of little weird stuff. I gave this one, like I said, House of Leaves Light. I gave it 3.5 stars. So yeah, that's for the Murder House prompt for the AHS Reading Challenge. All right? And I apologize for getting a little bit tongue-tied. I do apologize for that. I'll try to do better. I'm sorry. Okay, next up we have the Asylum, Season 2, Asylum. And that's to read a book about an asylum or a mental illness. And popping up on the screen, I read Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious earth. This is by Grant Morrison and drawn or painted, whatever you want to call it, by Dave McKean. And basically what this is a Batman story. And what happens is that there is a riot at Arkham Asylum, and some of the criminals have escaped into the asylum. Batman is called upon. He's got to go in there, and he finds out that it's all kind of a ruse and to get him there. And he has an hour to make his way through the asylum and get out again, okay? And basically what this does, it kind of tests the limits of his sanity going up against these criminals that he's put in there, who themselves are just completely batshit crazy, all right? Pardon the pun, okay? The thing I always got about Batman was this, is that I always personally thought that he was just as insane as the criminals that he apprehends and puts in Arkham Asylum. He dresses like a flying bat, for gosh sake. Give me a break. He's just as nuts as they are, only in a different kind of way, all right? I love this story. I give it 5. Did I give it 5 stars? I believe I did. Yes, 5 stars, because it's just a fantastic Batman story. And it fits in with the horror elements so well, because it's just such a dark and just a dark tale, okay? And it kind of gives you a history of Arkham Asylum. It gives you a history of the creator or the founder or whatever of Arkham Asylum. and it's just fantastic. So yeah, there you go. That's my second prompt for the American Horror Stories Reading Challenge. That is Arkham Asylum for the Asylum prompt. Okay. All right, I did season 3 already. That was Coven, Milan Witch by Catherine Cavendish, back in an old one. So going on to season 4, we've got Freak Show, and this is to read a book about a monster or a circus, a carnival or a fair, or etc. Okay, so for that one, I'm doing a little bit of cheating, and not on this particular challenge, but on the Halloween Creature Features Reading Extravaganza, which myself and Jason White are co-hosting in this month of October. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself. But anyway, I decided to do one on a creature, and for that I read Creature by Hunter Shea. And that's going to fulfill the It's in the Trees, It's Coming prompt for the Halloween Creature Feature Reading Extravaganza. What this is about is a woman that she suffers from these autoimmune diseases like lupus and those type of diseases, and she's in a lot of pain all the time. So her husband decides to take her to this kind of remote cabin up in Maine to get away from it all, to get some fresh air, to just kind of recharge her batteries, to help her to feel better. And they are terrorized by this creature in the woods. And it's kind of a Sasquatch story or kind of a Bigfoot story, but not quite. And I'm not going to give too much away about this, but this was the type of creature feature story that I just love to read, and it was way more than what I expected. I believe I gave this one 5 stars. I mean, it's just a fantastic book. If you haven't checked this out, please, by all means, check it out. Hunter Shea is like a master of creature feature horror. So, yeah, there you go for the Freak Show Challenge. That is Creature by Hunter Shea. All right, let me turn my thing back on here. Sorry about that. Okay, for Hotel and Roanoke, I did a combination of these. And for that one, it's going to pop up on the screen. I read Inside Perron Manor by Lee Mountford. And this is kind of a novella and is the first book in the series, in a series that he's going to be doing. And for the Roanoke one, to read a book about an urban legend, found footage, or a book based on actual events, the way that Perron Manor, Inside Perron Manor is told is kind of in a found footage format, kind of like finding out the history of the place and everything. So that's why I included it for that particular one. And then there's the one for, for Hotel. Now, when they are talking about Perron Manor and the history of it, they reveal that at one point in its history, it was turned into a hotel. So that is why I included it in the hotel prompt. So I went a little backwards. I should have said hotel first and then Roanoke. I apologize for that. But yeah, basically that's what the book is about, is this haunted house and the history behind it. Okay? So yeah, that is Inside Perron Manor. All right, season 6 or 7, I think, maybe. 6, I'm not sure. Cult. And that is to read a book about a cult, politics, or a horror novel written by an LGBTQ author. And for that, I chose the latter prompt and decided to go with The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. This, of course, is the one that became the basis for the movie Hellraiser and the Cenobites and Pinhead. And it is about this guy that discovers this puzzle box, and he solves it, and when he does, he calls forth these creatures known as Cenobites, and they are basically deliverers of pleasure and pain. They basically come from hell, and they destroy him, okay? So then what happens is that he has to have blood or flesh or skin in order to make himself whole again, and he gets the help of his brother's wife, who is his secret lover in the past, and so she kind of has to help him get back to his full body. That's probably a horrible synopsis. I apologize for that, but yeah, this is The Hellbound Heart. I love this story. I've read this before, and it's a definite 5-star story by Clive Barker. I actually like Clive Barker's short fiction more than I do his lengthier novels, just because they're so compact, and they're just in such a tight setting, you know. So yeah, that is the Cult challenge, and that is The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Number 7, Apocalypse, and that's to read a book about demons, exorcisms, or a dystopian setting. I might have cheated on this one, but for this one I chose The Windigo by Algernon Blackwood, okay? Because I kind of consider the Windigo to be a demonic type creature. It is a cannibal creature, a hunger demon, whatever you want to call it, okay? And I really was hoping I would like this story, and I didn't. I hated it. You know, I give it 1 star. That's the best I can do with it. There were times I'm reading this thing asking myself, what the hell is going on with this story? You know, and I'm sure other people have read this and they understood it completely. Not me. I just couldn't make heads or tails of it. I didn't like it at all. So yeah, that's The Windigo, Algernon Blackwood. All right, and that was for the, what was I said, Apocalypse story thing. Okay, I think this is the final one. This was probably for season 9. I'll got this listed as 8. But remember, I did the 3rd season in another thing. Yeah, anyway, we've said that before. 1984, and that is to read a slasher or summer camp book. For that, I chose Triple Axe. And if that sounds like Triple X, that is not a mistake, okay? In fact, it is quite intentional. It is about a killer who is stalking porn stars, and he is killing them with this unknown object. He's choking them with an unknown object. And I know where some of your minds are probably going, and you're right, because mine went there too, all right? Anyway, the surviving porn stars get together and decide to take revenge on this killer, okay? And that is how the title Triple Axe comes into play, all right? And you do find out there's a whole lot more to this killer than meets the eye. In fact, there is more than one, okay? I enjoyed the story. What did I say? I give it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It was fun. You know, despite the subject matter, which of course is porn and murder. All right? Loved it. I liked it. I did. 3.5 stars. Okay. All right. Was that supposed to be a Matthew McConaughey imitation? Because that was horrible. Let me try to do it again. All right. That better? All right, good. All right, so next up, we have the Step Right Up-a-thon. And this was created or co-hosted or curated by Nikki at I Read Past My Bedtime and Linda at Linda's World of Books. Now, I did some of these also in the month of August, so I'm just going to do the ones that I didn't do, so they're here for September. All right, here we go. All right, read a fairy tale retelling. For that one, I did a reread of a fairy tale retelling, and that was Snow Glass Apples. And this is by Neil Gaiman, and it is drawn by Colleen Duran. And this is a fairy tale retelling of Snow White. And in this, Snow White is the villain. She is a vampire, all right? And the good guy or the hero of the story, so to speak, is the wicked stepmother. So you got a kind of a role reversal here. Let me see. I'll give you a picture of the wicked stepmother. Yeah, well, she's kind of naked there. I apologize for that. Let me cover that up right there. All right. Anyway, that's the wicked stepmother. And you got Snow White. And she's just as they describe her, with black hair, red lips, white skin. So, yeah, let me see. Here she is. I love the artwork in this. Really awesome artwork. Anyway, that is for Read a Fairy Tale Retelling. And I just moved my camera. There we go. And that is for the Step Right Up-a-thon. Continuing with Step Right Up-a-thon, I've got read a book with a murder, a death, or a missing person. And also to read a book with black on the cover. For that, here's the black all over the cover. And that is, I read Midnight's Lair by Richard Lehman. And this is basically, a kind of the Descent type storyline. It is about a group of tourists on one of those cave tours. You know, where you go through this underground, these caves and stuff. There's like a little boat they go in. And then there's like the stalagmites, stalactites, and all that. But also there is a hungry group of these chuds, which of course is cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. and they attack the people, and then they got to figure out a way to get out. I'm not telling you the whole story because there's a whole lot more to it. It's really an awesome read, and I don't want to give too much away. But for this one, I gave Midnight's Lair, my phone keeps getting turned around, I gave this 4 stars. I mean, it's Layman. I love Layman's stuff. You know, a lot of people don't, but I do, man. I love his stuff because he's just so out there with things. All right, anyway, that is Midnight's Lair for the Step Right Up-a-thon. Okay, let me see here. The last one for Step Right Up-a-thon, excuse me. And that is to read a sequel or read a book with dark magic. And for that, I'm going to take my cord out of here. I'm charging my phone, but I think it's charged enough for this. That one I decided to read Death Goddess Dance, since it's by Levi Black. And this is the part 3, the final part of the Mythos War saga or trilogy. Final book of the Mythos War, okay? And the first 2 were Red Right Hand and then Black Goat Blues. And these books deal with the elder gods Nyarlathotep, Shub-Niggurath, Hastur, and all those. The ones that were created by H.P. Lovecraft and also by Ambrose Bierce. I don't want to give away too much because this is the 3rd book in a series, and that would be, I don't want to give away spoilers. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed this trilogy. I'm going to put this one at, what did I say? Where to put it at 4? I gave it 4 stars. Okay, so yeah, that is Death Goddess Dance, and that is the final book that I had to read for the Step Right Up-a-thon. All right, moving on. I've got one book from the 3-month Halloween Horror Reading Challenge, and that was created by Richard over at Are You Into Horror? And for that one, it's the September challenge, and that's to read a book that takes place on Halloween. I cheated a little bit, okay? I read Something Wicked This Way Comes, and this doesn't take place right on Halloween, but it takes place around Halloween. This is my first time reading this book. I absolutely loved it. I love the whole thing about this dark carnival coming to this town and the mysterious secret that it holds. It's kind of a coming of age tale. It's horror, it's thriller, it's dark fantasy. It's all those things rolled into one. I give this 5 stars. I can't believe it took me this long to read this story because it's just absolutely wonderful. If you have not read Something Wicked This Way Comes, then please, by all means, read this book. Okay? So there we go. Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I apologize. I'm having trouble talking today. I don't know why. Probably because I'm talking too fast or something. I don't know. Anyway, next up, I've got one book here for the Haunting of Hill House Reading Challenge. And that was one that was created by myself. And for that one, there's no time limit on this. There are, I think, 5 prompts. Take your time if you decide to do this, okay? Anyway, for this one, I read a horror book in which a character is dealing with grief or one of its 5 stages. And that one I decided to read Death Poems by Thomas Ligotti, because this one pretty much covers all of the 5 stages of grief. It has poems about just death itself, about suicide, about grief, acceptance, denial, all those things rolled up into one. I love this story, or this poetic collection of poems. I give it 5 stars. I read this thing in about 30 minutes. And then I went back and I read some of the stories again. It's like, wow, I just really enjoyed reading these stories. So yeah, Death Poems, Thomas Ligotti, 5 stars. All right. Okay, the last readathon I participated in was Halloweenathon. And this was created, excuse me, I got itchy nose there. This was created by Purgatory Paul over at, I'm going to say Purgatory Paul's because right now I don't know his channel name because he changes it a lot. I think right now it's Snowcone72. I hope so. He'll let me know because I know he's going to comment on this video. He does that. He's good about that, and I like that. Anyway, I decided to do for the 1st and 4th prompt of this readathon. The first prompt is read about something that you fear, that I myself fear. I don't like clowns. And the 4th prompt is to read about something that somebody else fears. My stepdaughter is deathly afraid of spiders. So for that, I decided to read Clowns vs. Spiders by Jeff Strand. And it is exactly what it says it is about. It is about clowns versus these gigantic spiders. You know, will they survive? I don't know. Do they travel in different cars? Of course not. They're clowns. One car, man, one car. Anyway, this is a hell of a story. It's funny, it's creepy, it's scary. I loved it. Giving it 4 stars. All right? Clowns versus Spiders. Jeff Strand. All right, that is it for the readathons. Now I have 4 more books in the that didn't become part of a readathon. So let's go ahead and do these. First up, from Holly Ray Garcia and Ryan Prentice Garcia, I've got the Easton Falls Massacre, Bigfoot's Revenge. And this book is exactly what it says it is. This is Bigfoot as Bigfoot should be. This is not Bigfoot going, oh, a human, let's run from him. Or, oh, a human, let's hide behind a tree. Or, oh, a human, like, just disappear or whatever. No, this is Bigfoot like he should be. Mean, tall, surly, burly, rip off your head, crap down your neck, rip off your arms, beat your entire body with them, tear out your guts. Bigfoot. All right? And this is about this town that is just completely terrorized by these creatures, mainly because they decided to bring one of a dead Bigfoot back with them into town, and the remaining Bigfoot decided to go, nope, they belong to us. And that's what they do, is they come into town and they take him and they, it's bloody, gory, absolute fun. I gave it 4 stars, all right? Easton Falls Massacre. Okay, next up, this was sent to me by the author in exchange for an honest review. I believe I've already reviewed this. I can't remember. I hope I have. But this is Polybius by David Irons. And this is one of those 1980s throwback stories, kind of an homage to the 80s horror movies and the 80s teen movies of the 1980s. Boy, that's so redundant. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, this is about a arcade machine, a video game at an arcade that basically takes over the mind of the teenagers and the people who play it, and basically turns them into murderous automatons. Murderous robot-like creatures, all of this kind of a hive mind sort of thing. I really enjoyed this one. I give it 4 stars, and I do definitely hope to read more by David Irons. He also wrote Wolf Moon, which I absolutely love. That was a 5-star story. But yeah, Polybius by David Irons. Okay. All right, next up, I've got The Body Will Follow. Actually, I have 5 more books. I got The Body Will Follow, and this is by Rob Bowley. And this is basically about a woman whose body is possessed by these spirits or demons, and they basically take her body on a sexual joyride, okay? I mean, they make her do things that she would not do in normal life, okay? And they make her say things. They alienate her from her friends, cause her to lose her job. And so when she finally gets exorcised from these demons or these spirits, she's got to make a decision about whether or not she wants to help somebody else that is under this same influence. I believe I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's quite entertaining. I love that cover. Yeah, but that's The Body Will Follow by Rob Bowley. Okay, and then I read Spring Slaughter by Sarah Clancy. And this was book 4, I believe, in the Bell Witch series. I don't want to go too much into detail about it because, like I said, there are 3 books, and I haven't really reviewed them. But this is one of the ones I read for this month. And this is basically what it's about. It's about the Bell Witch and this curse that she has and this group of people. I'm not doing a great synopsis, but like I said, I don't want to do any spoilers about it if you haven't read it already. So yeah, and I do recommend it. I really enjoy these stories, and I give this one 4 stars. Okay? And finally, good grief, I did not expect this video to go on for as long as it did. I read from Jason Robert Ducharme, and this is Ceremony of Ashes. And this is about a town that is kind of besieged by this witch. And she is getting revenge for having been wronged in the past. on the descendants of the people who wronged her. And this to me is witches the way they should be, instead of like doing love potions and making people fall in love or doing these cutesy little things like the good witch and stuff like that. No, this witch is pure evil. We're talking about the kind of evil where she can turn you into like this tree-like creature. She can do just all kinds of things to you, and they are all just nasty as hell, okay? Yeah, I love this one. 4 stars from Jason Robert Ducharme. Okay, Ceremony of Ashes. And that's going to do it. That is my September reading wrap-up. I'm sorry that it went on for this long. I started to make this one a 2-parter like I did my October TBR thing. But I decided, well, you know what? I'm just going to go and do all these. So if I counted right, that was 19 books that I read in the month of September. And I'm hoping to do that or better in the month of October. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the working week that's coming up. And stay safe out there, okay? See you later. Bye-bye.